What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So I got a good one for y'all right now. Let's take a listen to this.
Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy, and Tyson Fury. Tyson, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I'm very well. It's great to hear your voice. How are you keeping? Are you out running? Are you out training? What are you up to?
I've just been running, and here we are speaking to you right now.
Brilliant. Well, I'm alongside your chum, Mr. Simon Jordan. Danny Murphy is with me, and I believe you got something to tell us. So the stage is yours. Go for it, Tyson.
No, I just wanted to let everybody know. Everyone keeps asking me about this fight with this Ukrainian guy. Are you going to fight? Are you going to come back? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? I've made it quite clear that I'm retired from boxing. I'm very happy doing that. However, I will come back, but it has to be for an obscene amount of money. Because, let's face it, it's not Anthony Joshua, which will have done the fight for free in England. It's some foreigner who no one really cares of. And that's it. I don't mind chucking a dog a bone, but I don't want to chuck in the full fucking dog zone. Listen, if they want me to fight this unknown quantity and give him an opportunity of legendary status in trying to beat me, then they got to pay for that. And what I've got to say is, they've got a week. It's August the 24th today.
But Tyson, you're a big boy, and they're big boys, and the money's going to sort itself out.
1 week. 1 week.
Yeah, I know. I love all these ultimatums, Tyson. But let's assume you're going to get the money.
With proof of funds. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want no dodgy offers.
I know.
In writing, proof of funds to
But
my
you've worked with Frank and you've worked with Bob, so you know the people that you're working with, right? So there's a distinct possibility you're going to get the money that you want. So let's move on from the money side of things, because you're not all about the money, Tyson. You've told us that yourself. You're about the fight game.
Thank you.
So with that in mind,
Thank you.
Hold on a minute, Simon.
go on.
This fight is purely about money. I'm happily retired. I don't need money. I've got plenty of money. That's one thing.
Well, then what's the point? If it's not about money, why is it about money?
I'll tell you why. Because if
He
they
just
want
contradicted
50
himself.
to Fight, they've got to pay obscene amount of money. It's the biggest fight in the world, and it needs to be the biggest payday in the world. However, Mayweather.
No, I got to stop this. He just said, the Ukrainian guy, he said he's a nobody, he's unknown. But then he said it's the biggest fight in the world. How is a fight with an unknown foreigner the biggest fight in the world? How? These guys' faces are like, yo, what are you talking about? What the hell? Like, I respect what they're doing because you know what? Fury, just like so many people, they're used to people kissing their ass and telling them what they want to hear. You just sat here and said you have plenty of money, you don't need the money. So why are you making it about money? And like he said, you are the one who said it's for legacy. You don't fight for the money. Now people, well, yeah, he has a family to feed. Duh, exactly. This is your daily bread. This is how you eat. You think a trucker is going to, hey, listen, we got to pick up for you. You know, you're going from New York to California, $4,500 pickup. I don't care about the money. Why wouldn't you? So you're there to deliver the goods, the merchandise, but the rewards that come with it is not important for you and your family. You think somebody getting punched in their face for a living, someone who could possibly end up with brain damage, get killed in the ring, they don't care about the money? Stop it. I'm glad these guys are doing what they're doing because I get sick of these videos where these guys sit up here and cater to these fighters and kiss their ass and tell them what they want to hear. And that's why I'm letting this video play instead of telling you guys what I heard. I want you to hear it. Now watch this comparison he makes with Floyd.
I've got 400 million for Pacquiao. I want 500 million for Usyk. There we go.
So you're saying to us this morning, Tyson, you want £500 million?
Yeah.
And let me just, call bullshit on what he just said. He said Floyd Mayweather wanted. First of all, Floyd Mayweather didn't give an ultimatum and say, pay me $400 million or I'm not fighting Pacquiao. First off, the hold up with that fight, was the fact that he wanted Pacquiao to take random drug testing and Pacquiao didn't want to. Floyd did a year in prison, came back, in the meantime, Pacquiao had got knocked out by Marquez and that fight seemed like it was all but over, but then Pacquiao bounced back and then, the fight was back on and the fight ended up being worth more, What Tyson Fury is talking is rubbish because it's when Floyd went to HBO, Okay? He had an offer. This is what I'm asking. I feel like I'm worth that. HBO didn't feel like he was worth that. He went to Showtime. Showtime, we got you. So the envy came from that. He ain't stick nobody up and say 400 million or no fight. And those other fighters was not in his price range to even try to negotiate to try to take anything. Pacquiao was trying to get 50-50. Let's not forget that. And Floyd was saying, this man got 4 losses, just got knocked out, came back, beat a C-class fighter, and then all of a sudden, I gotta split 50-50 with him. No, that's what that came down to. And people all just split 50-50 for what? No, you know it's about money with Floyd. But Floyd was all about legacy and money. You understand? So that's not even the same thing as what you're talking about. Let's proceed.
To fight Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, no problem.
But
I know they've got the money. They've offered Tiger Woods £1 billion before.
Tyson, one thing we do know about you, though, mate, is you're a consummate professional. You always get yourself into great shape for fights. This surely is a fight that you want to take on. You want to fight Usyk, I presume.
I have no real interest in Usyk. Some man that no one can even say his name. A bumped up middleweight. He just beat AJ. It ain't my fault that he's gone and battered AJ, some bodybuilder. You know, it ain't my fault that that's happened twice in a row.
What did that have to do with him?
To do with me. However,
Exactly.
there's only ever been one dauntless in these waters, and that's me. There only ever has been me, all along. They try to compete, but when they compete, they get beat at the highest level. And that just shows you, there's no disrespect to Joshua, because he's a 25 and 3 fighter, or 20, whatever he is. But at top level world class boxing, he just can't cook it.
But Tyson, Usyk wants to fight you. If you don't take him on, people will say, well, Tyson Fury's running scared of Usyk.
Basically.
Yeah, I don't mind. They can say what they want. People can say what they want. This fight is purely about business. It's about nothing else. And if they want to see this fight happen, then they've got to pay for it.
Stop trying to tell yourselves these guys are all about legacy. It's always about money. Some fighters care about both, but it's always about money. How in the hell do you come into a sport that pays millions of dollars, but you don't want it? But you put your foot in your mouth when it's not about the money. Like I said before, same thing with Wilder. It ain't about the money. It's about legacy. And then then all of a sudden, remember, they didn't fight AJ because they wouldn't tell them how, the zone wouldn't tell them how much AJ was going to make. And they know this fight was worth $300 million at least and all this type of nonsense. But now all of a sudden, it's always about money. There's never a time where a fight is not about money. But he's being a hypocrite. And he did this before. Remember, it's not about the money. I have money. It's not about the money, right? Then all of a sudden, what happened when it was a rumor that him and AJ was going to fight? I ain't fighting nobody unless I get a boatload of money. So you go from it's not about the money, I don't fight for the money, to it's about the money. See, he's not stupid, but sometimes the fans are stupid because they believe everything that comes out these fighters' mouths. And sometimes ignorance and immaturity will make you say dumb things because you see things one way, then you realize later, nah, I'm tripping. It's always about the money.
I'm not talking to the general public because it's not up to them to put that money up.
Yeah.
It's not up to Frank Warren. It's up for some big people and they want to put a big site fee up, put this fight on in their country, the biggest undisputed title fight in 30 years since Lewis fought whoever. So, it's
But Tyson, let me ask you a question, right? Because I've just had an humble set to a Tony Bellew that tells me that I fancy you because I'm such a huge admirer of yours and a big champion of yours. Generationally, I think you're the best fighter. You know, you've beaten Deontay Wilder, you've beaten Dillian Whyte, which I don't mean to be disrespectful, wasn't much of a fight, Tyson, because you made it not much of a fight because Dillian Whyte wasn't at that level. But in order for you to go away generationally as the best fighter, surely you've got to go and clean Usyk's clock.
No, because he's a newcomer to this.
He doesn't.
This division. He's had 4 fights in the heavyweight division. Okay, so it's all right, Eddie Earn and whoever else saying, Joshua didn't fight any Separis or he didn't fight any Pianettas. Well, he didn't fight any Deontay Wilder.
Excuses, man.
He didn't have
I wish y'all could see these guys' faces.
Yeah, but he stepped up. It's like Evander Holyfield stepping up to heavyweight and dealing with Riddick Bowe and whoever he dealt with. This is the guy that people are now saying is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, right? The money side of things, I understand why you're doing it, Tyson, because the Saudis are running around throwing money like it's being printed by them. But there is also a fight here that people... I want to see you fight the fella because I believe that generationally you're the best heavyweight around, and I've been saying it for years. You believe it yourself.
I want to see you
I
knock
think
him
this is
out.
a fight that you should be taking, and the money will take care of itself.
However, there used to be a three-headed
And these are Tyson
monster
Fury
in the
fans.
heavyweight division. Correct me if I'm wrong. For such a long time, there was me, AJ, and Wilder.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
AJ and Wilder have been laid waste to.
True.
So therefore, the three-headed dog is now
What does this have to do with anything?
involved in it. Never. Only AJ gave him the chance to be involved in it. That's his problem, not mine. I haven't got to live with,
What the fuck does this have to do with you?
I haven't got to live with that. Because no middleweight born from his mother can say about the Gypsy Kings. I don't care who he is. And all this talk of, he's the pound-for-pound great. Pound for pound, my opinion, is a load of bullshit. There's no such thing as if everybody was the same size, because that's not real. So pound for pound's bollocks.
Well, we know that, but he's not a middleweight, is he? Come on, Tyson, he's not a middleweight.
What the fuck is Tyson talking about?
Because I'm quite good at it, actually.
Go on, then.
Quite articulate at the matter.
I know you are.
So, let me explain this to you. When Usyk was amateur boxing, sucking his mother's nipples, I was a British heavyweight champion, and he was boxing at 75 kilo as an amateur. 75
Usyk is
kg,
fucking older than
not
you.
120. This is why I call him a middleweight. He got stopped by Russian Korobov as a middleweight.
You got dropped by
As a
Cunningham.
full-set man, not as a child, 10-year-old, as a full-set man in his 20s.
So it's easy work, then?
Middleweight.
So it's easy work?
This is what I'm saying. Listen, I've never said it wasn't going to be easy work. All this pound-for-pound legendary status, I don't rate it.
Fine, but we're talking about you, Tyson.
Tyson, let's give you a scenario here. A lot of people,
Good hiding.
Tyson, a lot of people are reacting to the fact you're on the show with Simon and myself and Danny, and we're thrilled that you're on with us live this morning. But you have to think Saudi Arabia will be in the equation. You have to think there'll be enormous money. No.
There's not just Saudi Arabia in this running. Let me put that to you.
All right. So there's huge money. You'll get very close to what you want, if not what you want, and then it's game on, isn't it? Well, then it's game on, isn't it, Tyson?
100%. And then I'm going to owe Pierce Morgan £1 million in pound coins.
Tyson, if you get the 500 million, would that not give? Maybe sounds a bit flippant, but would you not then become a little bit complacent, maybe with the fight, because you got that fund? You know, the 500 million's coming in. I know you were wealthy anyway, but would that not? Will you still train? Would he still have the same incentive?
Let me tell you, I could beat Usyk on a week's training because he's a middleweight. I put my fist right through him.
Fine, Tyson, but listen, all this fanny about how much money is worth, you're going to get the money. So nobody wants to hear all that.
Thank you.
Because people put you on a platform of being a heavyweight champion in the world. We're not
Thank
interested in bankrolling you. We're interested in the best fighter beating somebody. And all this nonsense about how much money, you're going to get hundreds of millions. We both know it, right? So this is about you fighting Usyk, not all this nonsense about get on and whatever else.
Thank
Do
you.
you want to fight this fella or not?
Let me tell you, if the money's on the table, I'll fight Usyk and 50 men like him. And I'll lay waste to every one of them.
So when Frank came on yesterday and said the game's afoot then, yeah?
Well, let me tell you, if they come up with the money, they've got a week too. If they come up with it, they come up with it. And if they don't, they don't.
He don't want this fight.
So you've set them a deadline of a week, Tyson.
They've got 7 days to produce. Let me just tell you this. If Alex Usyk...
Mauricio Suleiman said Tyson Fury has until Friday, which is today, to respond, to accept Usyk's challenge. Then he counters with giving them 7 days to come up with the money, right? Didn't his old fish eyes sit right there and deny that Dillian White was worth what he was asking for? Remember, they went to court for it. No, they didn't want to pay him that. He's not worth it. You get what you worth. You get paid what you made in your last fight. Did Tyson Fury get $500 million in his last fight? Absolutely not. Not even close to it. But this is what he's asking for. You see how what comes out of your mouth to try to shoot down one fighter comes back to haunt you, though? And see, kudos to Talk Sport. That's the name of this YouTube channel. Kudos to them, because they're Tyson Fury fans, but they're not sitting here sucking his ass like the rest of you do. How you sit up and make excuses. This man clearly don't want to fight Usyk. I'll beat him. I can beat him with a week's training. He's a middleweight. Blah, blah. All this talk he's doing, but he's not showing you nothing. Same man that struggled with Otto Wale. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, he just had an off night. He brought up the fact that Usyk lost to a Russian guy back in the day. Okay, well, at the same time, Fury, that has nothing to do with you. And it has nothing to do with you right now. What happened with Usyk and AJ has nothing to do with you. He's making this about Brits versus Ukrainians. He's referred to him as a Ukrainian, won't even say his name. And then he made a comment in another video about how I beat the last Ukrainian and brought it back home. And AJ let these blokes take the titles back to the Ukrainians and all this stupid nonsense he's talking about. All he's doing is running his mouth because his little minions are sitting there going, oh, this guy is so entertaining. Oh, the Gypsy King. And these guys are like, stop the shit, man. Cut the shit. Why don't you want to take this fight, basically? That's the whole point of what I'm saying. I don't care how much you like a fighter. Be man or woman enough to say, hey, look, I hear what you're saying. I respect you or whatever, however, whatever. But right now, you talking bullshit. Nobody wants to hear this bullshit, man. You're going to make the money anyway. And your own people and you said you make what you get in your last fight. Okay, let's continue.
He needs the legendary Gypsy King. I do not need some foreigner. I don't need him. I've done what I've done. I'm a legend in the game. Undefeated world heavyweight champion, retired like Rocky Marciano. If he needs me, some foreigner and no one can say his name. Let me tell you another thing. Me giving him a fight is me giving him an opportunity in becoming a legend.
Agreed.
Like McGregor did with Khabib. Nobody knew the fuck Khabib was until he fought McGregor.
Language, Tyson. Language.
This dude is
Sorry about the language. Nobody knew who these guys were until they fight the legend in the game. So I don't mind chucking him a bone, this middleweight, but I'm not going to chuck him the full dog zone.
And that's fine. But let's assume, Tyson, let's stop with the 7-day deadlines, because if you get offered the money on the 9th day, you're still going to take it. But the spirit is there. You'll take this fight if they get the money right?
Yeah, 100%.
Good.
Yeah, I take it, Tyson. I mean, we've got to know you well, and you know your craft inside out. You're a good man. Presumably, you respect Usyk, right?
I don't respect him. I don't think he's a great fighter.
You don't want to fight.
He's a struggling fighter. And I've seen more excitement in Morecambe on a Friday night than I did.
Well, I'm not surprised if you're hanging about there, yeah. But what did you take away from the Joshua Usyk fight, Tyson?
I didn't take anything from it. Without being disrespectful.
All right, we're going to stop it right there because basically it's just more the same. This video has about close to 5 minutes left, about 5 minutes left. I've heard enough to know before this interview that he doesn't want this fight. And people, oh, he's not scared. Anybody thinks he's scared of Usyk is delusional. No, you see, he's talking all of this nonsense. So basically, his fan base will think like that. And then they will, oh, Usyk's just a middleweight. Oh, Usyk's trying to build his profile. Duh, dumbasses, of course he is. What fighter's not trying to? One thing for sure, okay? He's never been undisputed. And I've heard a lot of you talk about how, oh, Floyd's jealous because he was never undisputed and Canelo was. He's jealous of a man that he beat easily. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. This man was never undisputed. He's just held all the titles, but not at the same time. He was unified and then he held the WBC. So he's had all of the 4 major belts, but he was never undisputed. And he's sitting up here talking about if the people have the money, they want the fight. He doesn't want the fight. He doesn't fancy him. He doesn't rate him. That's all to try to make it look like, man, nobody, this. No. So pretty much it's always about the money. And basically, I could see him, if he did fight him and win, he'd be a hypocrite because then you know what? All of this calling him a middleweight stuff would go away. He'll name him as, oh, I beat him who was unified champion and I did this and I did that and I did this. you don't rate a person, you don't need to mention their names. So basically, he doesn't want this fight. And I'm going to tell y'all, he's not as confident as he's trying to make you think. See, he looks at this little guy and knows this little motherfucker slippery. It's going to be hard to corner him and catch him, man, and shit. This fight, this, do I have that kind of speed that I need to be able to stand in front of him and catch him and, you know, make the dog fight that I'm going to have to make it? Or am I going to stand back and, like, yeah, this dude is smart. It's not the physical challenge he's worried about with Usyk. It's the chess game. Okay, Fury is not as fleet of foot as he used to be. He's not as fast with his hands as you guys try to make it seem. He's quick for his size, but he is not like, it's not like, you know, he has all of these remarkable skills that I've never seen this before. No, Fury's a good fighter. Usyk's a good fighter. At the same time, Usyk is all around more technical. He's worried about that type of shit. He doesn't, after all of what he's saying, do you know how embarrassed he'd be for this little middleweight to beat him? And y'all gassed up thinking like, oh man, oh, he knows it's an easy fight. That's what he wants his fans to think. Just like Deontay wanted his fans to think he lost to Fury because he cheated. That's all this is. So I wanted you guys to hear this. The name of this channel is Talk Sport. Yeah, it's like 5 minutes left. Y'all can watch the video. I got things to do, moves to make, but I just wanted to get this video out so I'm gonna piece it together and get on the move. So this video will probably be out tonight. Sometime, I don't know. It depends on what happens with what I have to do right now. But this is what people need to do. This is what the fanboys need to do. You guys pay money for pay-per-view to go sit down and buy a ticket and go fly wherever these guys are, you know, go get a seat and pay all this money, and then they do shit like this. You guys are rich because the public make you rich. Because if nobody's buying your fights or coming out, then who are you performing for, right? And I'm not saying if the man wants to retire, but leave it at that. And you're lying. You know, Frank Warren just opened his mouth and said that Tyson Fury's keeping the belts. And on top of that, you're still ranked, you know, you're still the WBC champion. You're still paying sanctioning fees, and you're still ranked. You're not retired. You're lying. You're saying you're retired. So now if you don't get your way and you decide, well, now I'm going to actually retire, then so be it. But for the real ones, we know you don't want this smoke. And they can talk all this, oh, he ain't scared. This ain't about scared. No, he knows this is not an easy fight. He's trying to make it sound like he don't fancy him. That's what he's saying. Like, this is a waste of time. I'm not interested in fighting this little middleweight. All this, he was sucking his mother nipples when I was doing this and this. Usyk is older than you. You sound stupid. He's bringing up AJ and all this other shit that has nothing to do with why do you not want this fight. You're focusing on everything other than what's important. Fury does not want that smoke. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.